Ujú. Tu. Todavía no pasa nada al parecer. Uh, Como que no dice la cosa. Querido público Panda Combo, estamos acá probando un directo. Una impresión acá con el anuncio que hicieron ayer de la edición nueva de Innistrad Midnight Hunt. Estamos acá esperando el video que parta pronto. Habían prometido acá a las 5:30 que iba a partir el video. Son las 5:32 según mi reloj. Así que estamos aquí con ansia de que esto parta pronto. Mientras tanto, aprovechamos de saludar a nuestros amigos. La tienda de Spells en Viña del Mar. El podcast de Arena Pirexiana. El podcast de Miscas. ¿Qué más tenemos acá de los amiguitos? Mistorini, obviamente, para sus proxies. Y Fight Color Hub. Ellos organizan torneos de estándar por arena. En sus streams también regalan códigos, así que también lo invitamos a que los sigan a cada uno de ellos. Mientras esperamos acá el stream. Fly me to the moon, dice los comentarios. Es un Rakul Fly me to the moon. Estamos acá haciendo el directo desde el Twitch de Magic. Esto es... Esta miniatura ya no va. A ver, hay algo, ¿no? Sí, partió. Partió.
Hey, Chris. For Innistrad Midnight Hunt and also Crimson Vow, I was the product architect for both sets. So when we're talking about the product lineup and some of the special booster fun, that's really where I spent a lot of my time and attention.
Very nice. And then Ethan Fleischer is also joining us. Now, Ethan is probably the person most responsible for making sure that Asmarana, Martika, Dicey, Koldakar made it into Modern Horizons 2. But you were also involved with... Thank you. I never practiced that name. That's the first time it just slipped out, and it just happened. But yeah, if you can tell us a little bit about your involvement with these sets.
Oh yeah, so I led the vision design team for Innistrad. What's the set we're talking about?
For Midnight Hunt.
Midnight Hunt.
Midnight Hunt. Sorry.
Se confundió el chico. Ethan Fisher al parecer es el líder de la visión del set de Innistrad.
We came up with the big themes for the set and a lot of the mechanics, and some of those mechanics, as we'll find out, made it into this set, and some of them made it into the next set. And then we handed off to the set design team for final design.
Awesome. Very cool. Now, before we talk talk about these sets in particular, let's just do a little background for folks. So the world of Innistrad. Innistrad was first revealed, debuted to folks back in 2011. If anybody in the chat wants to feel the passage
Claro,
of
están
time
recordando
creep across
de
their
cuando
backs,
partió primer Innistrad,
just
que
keep
fue por allá por
2011 in
el
mind.
2010 más
And
uno.
Innistrad is a fan favorite world. We know people love going to Innistrad. It is heavily inspired by Gothic horror and all of the
Claro,
terrors of the
Innistrad
night,
obviamente se
classic
inspiró en
monsters
cosas góticas,
that sort of lurk around every corner and
de
in every
monstruos,
shadow
lore
of
de
Innistrad.
monstruos.
You know, there are werewolves, vampires, zombies, all sorts of creepy crawlies anywhere you look.
Claro, y esto infaltable, los vampiros, los hombres lobos,
About
los espíritus,
5 or
los
6 years ago
fantasmas.
now, and we went back to Innistrad for the first time with Shadows over Innistrad and Eldritch Moon, where it was discovered that the Eldrazi had a big
Y la
influence
segunda
on
visita
the
a
plane.
Innistrad
They
dicen
were
obviamente
slowly corrupting
de
it, and eventually
Shadow
revealed
era
that
Innistrad
Emrakul
cuando
was, in fact, the
Emrakul tomó el
corruptive
plano
force
y
on Innistrad.
con la
Since that
ayuda de
time, we are
Nairi
now sort of it's been a few years
empezaron ahí
in
a
the
hacer
world
los
of Midnight
Eldrazi
Hunt. Now that we're
de la
back
edición.
to, you know, Innistrad sort of, you know, not back to normal, because nothing is normal on Innistrad, and certainly nothing is peaceful. But we are back to the Innistrad, more like the Innistrad of 2011. The Eldrazi
Claro, dicen que
are
con la
in the
retirada de
rearview
Emrakul
mirror
del
at this
plano,
point. Their
lo
influence
más probable es que
is
vuelvan a hacer un set muy
slowly
parecido al primero.
and finally receded from the plane, and now we are back to the horrors that we've come to know and expect
No. Maldición mi
love
internet.
from Innistrad. So first up, let's Sean, if you could pull up some of the landscape art, some of the just a peek at what Innistrad looks like right now. You can sort of
Claro.
take a
Este
look
es el
here. While we
Innistrad de
do,
ahora, con esos paisajes.
yeah, Mike and Ethan, if you could just talk a little bit about sort of what to expect this time around on Innistrad compared to what we've done previously, and sort of where the world sits right now.
Right. So for Innistrad Midnight Hunt, we kind of looked at all of the Innistrad sets. This is the 6th set that is set on Innistrad, and
Este es el sexto set en
we've
base a
seen
Innistrad.
Innistrad with a lot of different faces. We've seen the sort of classic horror trope Innistrad. We've seen, you
Todo
know,
el
go
horror
deep
clásico.
on monster tribes Innistrad. We've seen
El horror cósmico.
Innistrad covered with angels, and we've seen Innistrad be invaded by the Eldrazi. And for Midnight Hunt, we really wanted to reset Innistrad to sort of the classic original.
Nuevamente repiten la idea de que van a volver al horror clásico
Horror
con este set.
monsters from classic horror films are menacing humanity, and who is going to protect them, because Avacyn is dead now.
Claro, buen punto.
That is one of the big
Antiguamente estaba Avacyn
sort
y
of
los ángeles
cliffhanger
para
plot
proteger
moments that
a la
happened,
población, pero ahora
in the last
Avacyn
block. And so now we see
fue
an
asesinada
Innistrad,
por Sorin.
and to
Así
get
que no
a
hay
little
ángeles que
taste of the
protejan a la
story to
población
come,
ahora.
the nights are getting even longer in Innistrad. The sun is rising later and setting sooner. Things are very
La noche más
chilly
larga
and cold,
ahora.
even colder than normal on Innistrad. Unusually cold for the fall time frame that we see here. And the set sort of opens with the upcoming Harvesttide Festival that a lot of the witches and warlocks in Innistrad believe is going to fight back against that encroaching darkness and the ever-increasing terrors that are coming out of it.
Right.
Which is-
Without Avacyn's protection, the humans have to turn to older and perhaps darker magics to stave off the onslaught of the different monsters, most particularly the werewolves. The werewolves are going plumb loony in Midnight Hunt.
Those gosh dang werewolves done gone mad.
Los
But
lobitos
yeah,
se han
you can
vuelto
take a look
locos.
here. We
Se han
have
desenfrenado al parecer.
this piece of key art for the set. You might recognize this particular figure. We're not gonna name names, but I think we know what's going on here.
¿Es Arlin?
expect
Arlin
to
Kord.
see werewolves of all kinds.
Está al frente de nuestro ojo todo este rato y
Now,
parecen a Arlin. Tiene
we
el equipo.
do have just
la
to
pechera.
sort of talk a little bit more about the set itself. Sean, if we could move towards the sort of product lineup that people can expect to come with Innistrad. And Mike, if you could just sort of walk us through what we're looking at here and what fans can expect when Innistrad Midnight Hunt comes out.
A ver, tenemos un
Yeah, for
producto
sure.
acá.
So on the,
Draft
Innistrad
booster, set
Midnight
booster.
Hunt, as what I'll call
Y lo del
a
medio,
full
¿qué es?
product lineup, right? You see on the left,
A la
the set
izquierda,
boosters
tercer booster, sí.
are continuing. Those are 12 card packs. They include an art card and just lots of goodness. A really fun opening experience where you can, soak
De
in all
hecho,
that
sí, hasta ahora
creative
los set boosters son productos
in all
favoritos de
the
abril.
cards that Midnight Hunt has to offer. In the
Más que lo
middle,
de
we
draft.
have the collector booster. The collector booster is where you'll
Ah, el del medio
find
collector,
the
claro.
booster fund, the showcase treatment, the
Obvio.
borderless
Esta no, yo no
cards,
me he dado
right?
cuenta.
For every
Set
set,
booster,
we've
collector
really been
y
trying to
el draft
find
booster, los tres
ways to
productos típicos que
connect to
han
that
hecho
that
este año.
resonance and the sort of the heart and what makes the set so awesome. And with the world about it's about this gothic horror, in the werewolves and everything that has to offer. We really created some outstanding treatments. And also the other thing that's great about the collector booster, if you're a fan of the traditional foil cards, it's packed with foil cards. So lots of goodness there. And then on the right hand side of your screen, what we all know and love, the draft booster. The draft booster for Midnight Hunt. It offers that great sit down and play experience when you get when you go to the pre-release upcoming. You'll get 6 of these draft boosters. Great to build sealed decks with as well.
Que al final los draft boosters son para jugar sellado en realidad.
We really are trying to make products that
Ese sellado con los 6 sobres y a partir de ahí armar un mazo, o el típico drafteo de 8 jugadores con 3 sobres cada uno, piqueando cartas.
So this is sort of the booster part of the product suite.
Yeah, and looking behind in that image there, you can sort of see just peeking out over the top there, looks like 2 additional commander decks. So these decks are going to be releasing alongside Midnight Hunt. You can kind of get like there's a look.
Claro, son dos
a
mazos.
little bit vaguely blue for some reason back
Algo
there.
sabido.
We're not going to be revealing anything about those commander decks here so far.
Sí, esta vez son solamente dos mazos de Commander.
They are in the style of the Strixhaven and AFR commander decks that have released recently. So a similar number of new cards. And those will be releasing alongside Midnight Hunt.
De hecho,
as well.
hay un
video
de Gavin que tiene la explicación de estos mazos, la cantidad de cartas que trae,
just waiting for a jump
cartas
scare,
nuevas.
Yeah, I saw. Once I looked at the image again, I also noticed that there's a bundle. We do a bundle with every set release as well. So Midnight Hunt has a bundle as well. Yeah, the images have all sorts of surprises.
Easter eggs, hidden surprises. Yeah, exactly. So this fall is a little bit different compared to what we saw last year, since we have 2 Innistrad sets. So we have Midnight Hunt coming in September into October, and then Crimson Vow coming in November. Now this is definitely way too early to start talking a whole lot concretely about Crimson Vow, but we did want to make sure that we showed off just a little bit of what we have coming up.
Lo van a dejar de ladito, parece.
So, Sean, if we could move towards some of the key art and some of the landscape cards you can see. There we go. Unsurprisingly, in our Innistrad set,
salió de la roca Don Sorin.
Of course, we have the return of Sorin, looking just as dashing as ever.
Bueno,
there.
por War se sabe que salió, pero el cómo.
Now, as we're sort of looking through, taking a look at the product lineup for Crimson Vow, Mike, and Ethan, if you could talk a little bit about sort of the connective tissue between these 2 sets, or like how they relate to one another. Let's talk about what people can expect.
Right. So as Midnight Hunt is about werewolves, Crimson Vow is about vampires. There are going to be some mechanics that cross over between the 2 sets, so they share mechanics. But
Están explicando de
some of
que
them
los
have some different mechanics from each other.
Midnight
Each
Hunt es
one
de
is a
hombres
fully
lobos.
draftable set on its own.
Esta
Each
edición
one is a
Crimson produce
large
los
magic
vampiros, pero
set
igual hay
with
mecánicas que se
everything you
entrelazan en
expect
el
for a
nuevo set.
self-contained magic set. They just both happen to take place in Innistrad.
Yeah, and the
oh,
go ahead,
to
Mike.
add on to what Ethan was saying, like, you know, we really viewed this as, you know, a 1-2 punch, right? Like, there's just so much goodness of Innistrad. It is, you know, every time we go out and talk with our players, Innistrad comes back as the favorite plane that Magic has done. And so we knew that we wanted to offer more than just what we could do in one set. And so by doing Midnight Hunt and Crimson Vow, it lets us highlight werewolves and vampires and all of the gothic horror tropes and goodness that there is to offer. And so we just saw this as a great
Siguen dando
opportunity
vuelta
to
entre
give
los vampiros y
more
hombres lobos.
Innistrad to players and our fans who've loved
Pero
it for
queremos
so
la
long.
bursa, queremos cartones, queremos más información.
Yeah.
And fans
And,
of
looking at-
zombies, spirits, and humans, don't be afraid. There be plenty of goodies for you in those sets as well.
Exactly. Yeah. The background you can see just in this art and in the background of the Sorin piece there also large gothic spooky magical castles, which are among my most favorite things in all of fantasy and all of its mediums. So I am
Qué hermoso
extremely
el
here
arte.
for all of this. Yeah, great looking pieces, and Crimson Vow I think is going to really delight a lot of folks, hitting on all those classic vampire tropes. So taking a look at chat, it seems like people are excited for preview cards. I don't know, I'm getting a sense that there are people who want to see preview cards, and I think
¿Queremos
we've
¿En
teased
serio?
everybody
No me
long
digas.
enough. So Sean, tell you what, let's
Bien,
start
vamos al
talking
preview.
previews and let's showcase our very first one. This is Join the Dance.
Unirse al
Join
baile.
the Dance is a green-white
Crea dos
uncommon
humanos
sorcery.
con flashback.
Create
Vuelve
two
flashbacks,
1/1
amiguitos.
white human creature tokens, and it has
Retrospectiva
flashback
ha vuelto
for 3,
al
a green
estándar.
and a white. So we were talking a little bit about the Harvest Tide Festival, and you know the humans of Innistrad banding together to sort of gather ancient magic.
Explica que en tercera hora hay festivales donde la gente se junta.
The ever encroaching night.
Hay
And
muchos
this is
temas
sort
en
of
cuanto a fiesta al
representation of
parecer
some
en la
of
edición.
those humans and the rituals that they're engaging in.
Reuniones de bruja
So yeah,
también.
let's talk a little bit about the design of this card and some of the mechanics here. We see flashback. That's a cool, nice returning mechanic.
Right, flashback is returning. This is a very old mechanic. This was from Odyssey originally, I believe.
La
which was
Odisea
the late
flashback
90s.
de ese entonces.
And it also appeared in the original Innistrad set. Notably, we've never done a multicolor card with flashback before. We are
¿Verdad?
doing that for the first time here.
Primera vez
That'll
carta
allow us to
multicolor
make
con
some
flashback, claro.
powerful spells
Han habido antes
that
de
will be
un color
too
y el
strong
flashback de
or
un
do
color
something
distinto,
too
pero
crazy
nunca en
for a
carta dorada,
single-colored
tiene
card
razón.
to do. So we're going to get some good, powerful multicolored flashback here.
Definitely. Really happy to see flashback making a comeback. I know for me, I cut my teeth on Innistrad Limited when I was like really starting to go full on into Magic, and casting Travel Preparations was probably the first feeling that I had in Limited of like, oh, I'm doing something that I shouldn't be able
Podemos
to
ir a
do.
la
Like, this
oscuridad
is
de la
Yeah.
mano o solos.
And
Sí,
so
porque
seeing
soy
Join
yo.
the Dance here, this time creating the things that could receive the +1/+1 counters that Travel Preparations would use.
Dispara Winota.
Ton of fun.
Qué mal, los humanos no
and
sirven.
awesome to see. Just taking a look at chat here, just to sort of get this out of the way. I don't want to. I hate to be this person to let down folks a little bit. We have some really cool cards that we're going to show off today. We don't have any werewolves to show off today.
No hay
There's
hombre
something
lobo.
a little bit different and a little bit new.
Ese de hombre
It's not
lobo
the way
y no van a
werewolves
mostrar
work
hombre
in
lobo.
Innistrad Midnight
Pero
Hunt.
¿cómo?
We're not quite ready to reveal it yet, but you can be assured there are plenty of incredible werewolves of all kinds, and we're going to be showing off more.
Ese
of
de
those as we
hombre,
get
de hombre
closer
lobo. ¿Por
to
qué no van a
official
mostrarme un
preview
hombre
season.
lobo? ¿Cómo es la mecánica?
That being said, we have other additional preview cards coming our way here. Sean, let's pull up Triskaidekaphile.
Miedo a no sé qué número.
Thank
No
you.
tiene máximo de
Costs
mano.
1 and a
Criatura
blue, is a
1/3.
1/3 creature human
Al
wizard.
comienzo de tu mantenimiento, si
With
tiene
the rules
exactamente
text, you have
13
no
o
maximum hand size, Then
13 cartas
at the
en tu mano,
beginning
gana
of
el
your
juego.
upkeep, if you have exactly 13 cards in your hand, you win the game. And then an activated ability of 3 and a blue to draw a card.
Y no se gira ni nada, una
okay,
habilidad
help me
que
out
con
here.
4 más
One,
robas cartas.
Triskaidekaphile and I'm
Triskaidekaphile.
sorry, what? 13? What is going on here? Walk me through
Phile,
this.
como amor. Amor al 13.
Right, so Innistrad has a sort of recurring motif of the number 13, which, at least in Western culture, is an unlucky number, and so, therefore, horrific in some way. And so,
Claro, el tema del número 13 fue un número de mala suerte.
In various ways, and it gets harder every
Claro,
time.
y en Shadow estaba esta carta que era miedo al número 13.
Ideas.
Que hacía cositas con ese número.
As you can see on the screen here, Triskaidekaphile was a card from
Por
Shadows
ejemplo, hay
over
algunos
Innistrad,
edificios de
which
no
made
sé,
somebody
15
lose
pisos,
the
el
game
número
if they
13
had
no se
13
ocupa.
life.
Por lo mismo.
Triskaidekaphile loves the number 13, and so you will win the game if you have 13 life, 13 cards in your hand. Excuse me.
Exactly.
What?
Yeah.
¿Qué es otro dibujo? ¿Por qué otra arte?
Probably not the first time we are going to see reference to the number, or not the first nor the last time seeing the number 13 referenced
¿Por qué arte distinto?
throughout the set. But yeah, no, what an awesome way to sort of continue the running themes that we've seen in previous Innistrad sets, and just share the love this time instead of the fear. There's nothing to be afraid of. I mean, she's just collecting hands. Like, there's nothing to be afraid of there. It's all about the love. The love of number 13.
Yeah, it's certainly a card you can see if you're a commander player, right? Playing a control deck in commander. It's certainly a good addition. Both the no maximum hand size
que tiene que vivir hasta el mantenimiento, pero gana el juego.
That's certainly
más de uno va a intentar armarlo.
Cards, right? It really can be a fun extra way to win the game.
O sea, robar de más, arreglar su mano con el Discarowlet.
Oh, sorry, Mike. I think you were about to say something similar.
I was about to call out, and you can see on the
right-hand side, y esperar, cerrar los ojos de que sobreviva el mono de la vuelta.
The bundle that we were showing earlier, every one of those has this alternate art promo card that you can get when you purchase the bundle.
Está bajo el texto y secundario.
Yeah, a great little addition to that bundle. All right, now, so we know Midnight Hunt is all about werewolves. There's going to be tons of them throughout the set. However, the Innistrad has always had a strong focus on creature types, especially the monstrous creature types and the humans that are fighting against them. And zombies have been a huge part of Innistrad ever since its conception. So to sort of lead into that, we have a zombie card that I think a lot of longtime folks are going to get a kick out of. Sean, if you could bring up Champion of the Perished. That is perished.
Siempre que otro zombie entra al campo de batalla, puede encontrar uno a uno. Se parece a una criatura blanca que había antes. No, su preferencia será el mismo, ¿no? La misma criatura que ahora está muerta.
All right. I think I see what's going on here, but
¿Era un aliado?
Mike, walk me through this.
Well, this is a reference to a card from the original Innistrad set, Champion of the Parish, which is basically the same card, except it's white, and it cares about humans instead of caring about zombies. Champion of the Parish.
Yeah, a really great way to both support the zombie creature type and potentially offer some really fun new deck choices for people in Standard and other formats. A great callback to the original set, and also sort of a nice way to showcase that ever-encroaching evil and terror happening on this plane, right? I mean, this was an iconic human creature in the original Innistrad block, and now it is, it's corrupted foil sort of appearing here as a zombie in this set, which is super cool. And we can also see that it is the Buy a Box promo for the set.
Una buy a box a la derecha.
Yeah, so and the way the Buy a Box program works is for participating stores and while supplies last, players who buy a display box, the store will have a Buy a Box card that they get as well. And because it's a little hard to see in the digital format, I do want to call out both the Champion of the Perished that we're looking at here, the Buy a Box card, that'll be in a traditional foil, and the Triskaidekaphile, the bundle promo, that's also a foil in the bundle. So I wanted to highlight that because showing foils digitally is always it's always a challenge.
Están
Always a
destacando
challenge.
que
Yep.
tanto la Booyah
Yeah,
Box
rest
como
assured
la
you
del
get this
bundle
awesome art
son cartas foil.
in the
Que quizá acá no se aprecie
treatment,
mucho.
and it comes in foil as well. So lots to love there.
Excellent. Yeah, just two fantastic pieces there from Darken and Kikai Kotaki. Just really cool card. Now, one of the other cool things that are, something that should be on top of mind here is that, we have standard rotation coming up. We are about to enter a phase where a lot of cards previously in standard that, see play as sort of like the staples of the current format are going to rotate out. And Midnight Hunt is going to be a place where we're going to see some new cards that you're going to see pretty frequently here in new standard that are also going to appear in promo packs going to WPN stores. So let's talk about some of these like staple effects that you're going to be seeing for some time here. Let's start with Consider.
Instantáneo por uno.
Consider is a blue instant.
Mira la carta del tope.
Mana.
Puedes poner en tu cementerio y robar una carta.
Card of your library. You may put that card into your graveyard and then draw a card. So this is just a great little staple instant sort of your opt style card for the set.
Yeah, obviously it resembles opt quite a lot. Opt where you scry one and then draw a card. This is a little more powerful in the context of cards like FLASHBACK cards or other cards that care about the graveyard. Which, if you've played an Innistrad block before, there are a lot of cards that care about the graveyard or are more powerful if they're in the graveyard. So this can get you a little edge with those new cards.
Yeah. Not surprised you're seeing some folks in the chat talking about, why not Surveil? This might be tipping the hand a little bit, but typically with sets like this where we have sort of the where a mechanic doesn't appear as a primary mechanic in the set, you'll often see unkeyworded versions of similar effects, right? So no Surveil here is probably a sign that Surveil is not going to be a mechanic in the set. However, very similar in function. But yeah, no, given Innistrad, it's a horror set. Obviously, the graveyard plays a big component.
Exportado, pero
so
no
being
es
able
necesario
to have some synergy
porque no es algo principal del set.
Filling things and putting them into your graveyard is going to be great for blue decks coming up with Midnight Hunt.
Está bueno.
All right. Tell you what, next let's move right into the next one here. We still have a couple of previews,
and I want to make sure we get to all of them. Let's talk about
Infernal Grasp.
Mandarla al fondo. Infernal Grasp destruye una criatura, pierde 2 vidas por 2 mana.
It is a black uncommon, costs 1 and a black mana.
También
pretty straightforward rules text.
Al fin un removal que no es condicional.
Creature, you lose 2 life. There we go. There is the if you're looking to kill a thing dead, here we are.
Yeah, it's super important for the health of any format that there be strong answers to strong threats, and this is a very strong one indeed. This can destroy any creature unless it has, hexproof or indestructible.
Oh. Vamos
internet. And for the low price of 2 mana at instant speed, really
Doomy's Blade. Doomy's Doomblade.
Yeah, we were chatting a little bit with Ian Duke from the development team about these cards, and he also brought up sort of the cool point that the life loss is sort of an interesting rider on this this sort of effect because it really it's great for it's classic rule of the spell, good for controlling the board, but in decks that are just going to sit and control the board and not have a large presence, that 2 life does start to add up a little bit. So in the case of the classic aggro versus control matchup, that 2 life is not insignificant in some cases, but something tells me you're still going to be running this in all manner of controlling and mid-range decks.
Yeah, that is a good point, though. That it is a little more aggressively slanted than some other removal spells, perhaps.
Yeah. All right, so we have one more of these,
El
these
último. No,
promo pack
yo quería
cards
más.
that I think people are going to be pretty excited about. Let's show off Play with Fire.
Jugar con fuego.
Play with Fire is a red
Hace
instant.
2 de daño a cualquier
uncommon, costs
objetivo.
a single red
Si un
mana.
jugador le hizo
Play
daño de
with
esta
Fire
forma,
deals
Scry
2
1.
damage to any target. If a player
Es
is
un
dealt
shock con
damage this way,
esteroide.
Scry 1. So this is
Un shock con
with
esteroide. Qué buena.
all standard sets, we get this sort of like classic shock variant. So this is really cool to see here. Having a shock with upside is great. We've seen it before in the case of something like Wild Slash from the original Tarkir
bueno.
block. But yeah, no, this is a really good one to see for the upcoming standard environment.
Yeah, this is a card that is well positioned against control decks. Shocking a creature is fine. You'll play shock in standard pretty often, but this gives you the Scry 1 is a significant bonus if you aim it at your opponent's face, and if you're playing an aggressive deck against a control deck that is often going to be.
Chota, internet la odio. No creo que no nos estamos perdiendo mucho si era la última carta que iban a mostrar al parecer.
What you're going to do with this spell, because there just aren't very many small creatures that you need to target. So scrying into another one of these is going to feel pretty good.
Absolutely.
Yeah, and as you can tell, for each one of these more staple effects, right? We've given them the promo pack treatment that we've been doing, which is the version on the right. Those come in promo packs, which stores will typically have, and they can give them out as they feel appropriate, depending on what their players like to do in the store. And so even like we were still making them available during the past year and a half, but a lot of times because play wasn't happening, then stores would be finding other ways to give away these cards. So you can find all of them in foil and in non-foil in the respective promo packs.
Awesome. Yeah, no, I also just want to really quickly call out here that this is depicting a devil on Innistrad, and of course, a devil's idea of fun is a flaming throwing knife. It's just good, harmless fun for all involved. Whenever we see a devil on Innistrad doing their business.
Yeah, I love this.
That devil.
Devils find human dwellings to be oppressively cold, dark, and unburnt.
Right.
They can fix that.
You know that devil is going mountain, play with fire, to the face, scry 1. Like that's how
Exactly.
that devil plays magic. There's no doubt about it.
Yeah, and take it from Mike Turian, somebody who knows a little bit of something about tossing red cards to the dome. All right. So if we could take things back to us real quick here, we do have one particularly cool preview card that I'm excited for us to be able to show off today. So you might have a idea at least of some of the planeswalkers that are going to be in the set based on what we've shown so far. Obviously Sorin coming up in Crimson Vow, that looked a little bit like somebody whose name rhymes with Blarlin Blord in the Midnight Hunt key art there. But there is another planeswalker coming to Midnight Hunt, entering the lineup that we are going to be able to show off here today. So, quick drum roll, and Sean, if you could pull it up.
Mucho
we have
texto.
Wren and 7. Not 6, 7. So Wren and 7 is
Son 4 habilidades. Qué Barça.
Mythic rare costing a 3 mana, a green, and a green.
Genérico 2 negros, 5 de lealtad.
With 4 loyalty abilities. So +1, reveal the top 4 cards of your
Revela 4,
library.
pone todas las tierras en tu mano y el resto en el cementerio. Un 0, pon cualquier número de tierras en tu mano.
0,
juego.
loyalty, put any number of land cards from
Ya
your
te
hand
encuentras con el
onto the
primero, después lo tira a la mesa.
-3,
-3, crea un arbolito con alcance. Y esta criatura tiene poder de resistencia igual al número de tierras.
Yeah. And then -8,
y -8, regresa todos los permanentes del cementerio a tu mano. Y con un emblema no tiene máximo de mano.
So Wren and 6 made their debut in Modern Horizons, known for a
Una parte
planeswalker who
igual que
likes
¿qué
to
voy a
sort of
decir? Por
use
mala la
these
wea.
elemental trees as
No,
sort of like, almost like a
rampea, pero
body armor
mucho.
mech suit. And the name 6 is in reference to the number of times this process has happened and sort of the named number of those
Mid-range puede
dryads.
ser que esté ocupado
So Wren and 7 here,
un rampa
this
que hay
is the
tan,
7th incarnation
tan
of
grande que se puede jugar ahora.
sweet looking tree mech suit that we sort of got going on here. Talk to me a little bit about this card and what it offers for the
Igual
set.
la primera está conectada con la última
Yeah,
habilidad,
it's
pues si
funny. This
recupera las
card had
tierras,
a sort of unusual
después todo eso que uno
development
desechó con el
process.
menos 8 se te devuelve
The
la mano.
original Wren 6 card was put in Modern Horizons just to be like, oh my god, what's some really weird Planeswalker design we could come up with that we're unlikely to want to put in a standard set. And then, okay, the world building team designed a character around that card. For this next card, I led a team that did like mechanical designs for new Planeswalker characters. We thought, oh, what if we had a green land-based Planeswalker that made tokens with reach
apoyo para
that could have some interesting
Wakanda,
applications.
el comandante
And when we brought it to the world building team, they said, well,
Gatito.
why not Wren? You know, Wren is friends with tree folk, and tree folk could have reach. And so it's like, oh, that's great. So now we've
Valito de Arte
combined
tiene reach,
this
¿verdad?
this sort of mechanical identity with an existing character that makes a lot of sense. And Wren is scary looking. Like, that is a scary monster dryad. So I think that Wren and 7 will be quite at home on the horror world.
También en Planeswalker.
Yeah, no, and you can see here we have both the standard version and the borderless version with art by Bram Sells, original by Hale and Wacho. In recent years we've done these borderless treatments on all of the planeswalkers from our main sets, and so happy to see that style make a return here. Both incredible looking pieces. And I'm excited to see what this card could potentially do in standard. Now, if I'm remembering right, that +1 is just mulch, right? That's like 1-for-1, I think. The original Innistrad card.
Yeah, that's exactly mulch.
Awesome.
Yeah, in speaking to the borderless treatments, so when we're talking about that product lineup, you can find those in the draft boosters, the set boosters, the collector boosters, right? We're always. And one of my favorite things about I love the borderless treatment, but I just love that we get to show off, two different takes on the same character. Planeswalkers are just so amazing, and to be able to have two different artists do their version is great. And I'm really excited that we're bringing Wren to standard for the first time, right? Because Wren was in Modern Horizons. This is the first time
Wren bebé es
you'll be
súper
able to play
bueno.
Wren in standard.
El rojo verde.
And Wren in 7
Hace todo el
does
trabajo.
an awful lot for 5 mana.
Absolutely. All right, Sean, if we could come back to us real quick here. Just as a heads up, we mentioned it on Twitter before, but there's also a daily MTG article that's being published, should be live
¿Cuántas
right now
ediciones
already,
para
actually.
Wren y
It's going to
11?
have all the information that we've talked about here on stream. The card previews will also be there. So if you're joining us late, have no fear. Check out daily MTG. And if the cards aren't previewed and available on the site now, they will be very soon. So keep an eye on
toda la
there if
noticia.
you've missed any part of this stream so far.
La vuelta de FLASHBACK.
That being said, we do have
Zombies.
one last thing to
El
show
rock
off
clásico ha vuelto.
from Midnight Hunt in particular before we head out for the day. Something really cool. I got a huge kick out of these the first time I saw them. I have an illustrated copy of Frankenstein sitting behind me, and these pieces of art really, really took me back. So let's take a look. These are the Eternal Night basic lands.
Las tierras.
Wow.
Yeah.
Blanco y negro, qué
Very
fue.
different from anything we've ever made before.
O sea,
Yeah, you can see we have one set by a whole cycle by Dan
tengo
Mumford
sentimiento
down on the
encontrado con
bottom
estas
here,
tierras.
and then a couple of other artists, including Elena Danner.
Al menos no son
a
energías
few
Pokémon.
others here up top. These are fantastic black and white lands. Now, Mike, talk to me a little bit about where we can find
no
these
me
cards in the
convencen
set.
mucho.
Yeah, first off,
Están
I'd
ahorrándose
also
tinta
like to gush
acá.
over about how fantastic these turned out. I see chat going, bringing that equal amount of excitement. Right. So for the showcase Eternal Nightlands, you can
Prefiero
find
más
them
colorida mis tierras, la
in,
verdad.
every draft booster will have one. In the set booster, every set booster will have one. And there's actually in the set booster there's
Como
a
que a mis
dedicated
Torini se le hubiese
slot
acabado la
where
tinta y tiene que
that slot
sacarla
will occasionally
en
upgrade
tonos de grises de
to the
las
traditional
cartas.
foil treatment. So in the set booster, you're typically going to get a non-foil version, but you do get an upgraded foil version in addition to the other foil you get. And then if you're like, hey, I really want that traditional foil, every collector booster has one of these 10 Showcase Eternal Nightlands in it in traditional foil. So that's something that you can expect, and it's one of the ways that we really want to highlight this treatment. And since we're talking about foils, Chris, I'm just going to go right into. You can also, one thing that once again hard to show digitally. There is a high gloss pin line treatment, right? So as you're looking at the card, see that green border here as we're looking at the forest. We hit that with the high gloss spot gloss. Also, the mana symbol has that on these cards. And so, once again, digitally, it's not possible to really
Están
convey it.
disculpándose de que digitalmente a lo mejor no se vea muy
I've held
bien
some of
y
these in my hand,
quizá teniéndole en las
and
manos se vea mejor.
it's a really
Que
striking
puede que
treatment
tenga razón.
that you can find both on the non-foil and on the traditional foil
Pero igual
version.
un
So
shock.
I really love how that came out, and it just
Tierra en
adds
blanco y
even
negro.
more to already stunning cards.
Absolutely, yeah. I've had the chance to see some video. I haven't held them in my hands in person, but yeah, the pop on the pin lines and the mana symbols looks really great. Now, Mike, just to clarify, did you say draft boosters for these as well?
Yeah, that's
okay.
Right. The draft booster has a dedicated slot. It'll have one of these 10 lands in that slot. So you get one in every draft booster. The draft booster also can have.
Ser seguido
these in
aparecen
foil,
los draft boosters
but
de
that's
modelo de tierra.
far more scarce.
Right on. Yeah, no, those are fantastic, and I'm really excited to get a new set of draft lands using all the arts here. All right, taking a look at chat, we actually that is all that we have to share for the day here today. We've gone through a lot of really cool previews. Sean, if you want to just cycle through a couple of these real quick in case we have any folks who joined us late and might have missed anything. Really great. Getting a first look here at Midnight Hunt. Like I said, we have a daily MTG article that is going live and will be continue to be updated. Right now, they'll have all the information, all the cards revealed and talked about here today. With more to come for Innistrad Midnight Hunt in a couple of weeks. So expect to hear back from us and hear more. But just before we really dive into preview season, wanted to make sure we gave you a little sneak peek of things. Seeing a lot of questions in chat, Mike, really quick about whether or not the Eternal Nightlands are appearing in the bundle. Is that are you able to share that with us today?
If you're asking me the question, I suppose I am
Partimos bien por lo menos.
The way you get those in the bundle is there are packs in the bundle.
Perdón, pero no me gusta el verde, así que no es algo que yo haría en alguna estrategia.
We also create for both the bundle and the commander deck.
Al menos parejito, está todo alineado. Habilidades tienen que ver una con otra.
And so
busco tierra, las pongo en juego, coloco una criatura grande y todo lo que boté lo tiro a la mano. Está parejito el camino al plano.
Aside from what you're opening up in the booster packs, it's not these versions, right? There's a version that's that's more more regular, I guess is. And yeah, right, and that's a question we always get. One thing that I do like that it does is it gets to show off just more of the world. And so
Mm-hmm.
I'm glad that we create some additional landscape pieces to really show off the world in the plane of Innistrad.
Yeah. That being said, given that you're going to find these in all kinds of boosters, probably won't be too tough to get your hands on them. Very similar to other full art lands in the past. Those sort of regular lands are also going to be just a tiny bit harder to come by than normal. But luckily, there's a nice stack of them in the bundle. But yeah, that is all that we have to share for today.
Eso es todo,
Thank you
amigos.
all so much for joining us. It's been great. Thank you so much to Mike and Ethan. It's been really great
Este
hearing
directo
your
fue un
insights about the
experimento.
development
No
of
fue
the
ni siquiera el
set.
tiempo de cambiar el
And,
marco,
can't
el
wait-
mismo de
Can't
el
wait
video
to
de
learn more.
Char.
Yeah, thanks for having us, Chris. I'm super excited. Coming back to Innistrad,
Igual
it's
me debieron los
awesome.
hombres
I'm so
lobos
glad to get to work
y los
on it and
vampiritos.
just
Tanto
be
que
a part
promocionan
of
y no salió nada de eso ahora.
an amazing world.
Arlin Kord me parece que estaba de
Yeah,
vuelta.
the
All right.
original
Se fue a la
Innistrad is a tough
portada,
act to
todo frente a
follow,
nosotros.
but we're gonna try.
Vuelve Sorin. Y nos corta la transmisión.
We're going to try and
No,
we're going to try
mi
it twice
computador.
even. It'll be cool.
That's right. We get
All
two
right.
shots.
So yeah, checking out chat again. Like I said, have no fear. More werewolves are coming. There are going to be more werewolves than you can possibly shake a stick
El
at.
spoiler viene recién para el próximo
Werewolves
mes.
don't like it when
Eso
shake
sale
a stick at
en
them.
septiembre
play
recién.
fast.
Having them show up. No, they really
Así que nos
don't.
dejaron con esta pildorita.
But yeah, stay tuned. In a couple of weeks, we're going to go
Faltan
way
unas
deep
2-3
on,
semanas para que
Midnight Hunt.
sepamos
It's
algo
gonna be a
nuevo
great
de
time.
esta edición.
Next week we'll have another great show. Blake will be back, and
Pero
yeah,
tenemos
can't
a
wait
fin
to
de
see you
mes el
then.
anuncio
But
grande de
until
Wizard.
then, you all have a great day. Bye.
Chill.
Chicos, yo también me retiro. Ojalá les haya gustado el directo. Quizás lo probemos en algún otro momento de este formato. Jugadores, que estén muy bien. Hasta la próxima.